Today, it's been a travel day. My name's Al and I'm a backpacker.
Alright.
Yep. I gave up my job last year and decided I wanted to travel around the world. I'm 36 years old, so I'm a bit old to the game, but it's not my first rodeo. I have done a bit of this before. Earlier this year, around about January 17th, if I remember correctly, I came to Thailand. So I was on a 60-day visa and meant to leave the country by the end of March. And I finished up some scuba diving that I was doing and was just going to travel for a couple of weeks. And a week before I was due to leave the country, the whole of Thailand locked down, and there was a lot of confusion at the time about flights and getting back home, and I decided to wait it out, and it turned into a really great decision because I met a lot of wonderful people. And even though we were locked down in a villa for 3 months and couldn't travel outside of our district, we had a great time together, and it was a really great community of travellers all in one area, all doing the same thing, just waiting to see what would come from staying in Thailand. Just had lunch and I was back on the bus again. Since July the 1st we've been able to travel again, and I've been out on the road traveling around south of Thailand and seeing everything, and it's been really different compared to how I was expecting initially when I came to Thailand, because a lot of things are closed and there's a very few tourists and travellers out at the moment. So I'm seeing Thailand in a whole new light. Today I travelled from Phuket to Khao Sok National Park, which is somewhere I've really wanted to come since I came to Thailand originally, and it's absolutely tipping it. We should have done this on a different day. It's the rain is not the most welcoming, especially when we left Phuket and the sun was shining. Today unfortunately hasn't been the most entertaining of days because it's just been taxi journey and then coach journey and then arriving here, and unfortunately it's too late at night and too bad weather to do anything. The reason that I wanted to be part of this is I wanted to show people that during this time where everyone's locked down, that the world hasn't completely stopped. There are people like me, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, who are still traveling amidst confusion and difficulties to book travel and places to stay and restaurants to eat in. There are still people out on the road that are trying to enjoy their life the same as they were before. Unfortunately, majority of people have been stuck and have had a really difficult time being either stuck in their homes during lockdown or unable to go to work, and yet there are some who are really fortunate, and I believe myself really fortunate in the fact that we were in the right place at the right time, and we're able to see the world still and travel around and still keep doing pretty much what we were doing beforehand. So the makers of this movie actually asked us to answer a few questions. What do you love? I love travel. That's why I've dedicated my life to it. I just think it's wonderful meeting new people. I think it's wonderful experiencing new cultures, and it's something this film stands for as well. The variety of people from all over the world that we're getting to see on this movie, it's incredible. Just the whole world coming together to express their message and to tell people about what they do in their lives every day. Next one. What do I fear? What do you fear? I fear not being free. I fear not being able, whether it be through my own health or through other influences. I fear that I'm not able to do what I want to do in my life, and I feel lucky, and it is a privilege being from where I'm from, which is I'm from the UK. It's a privilege that I've got a passport that allows me to travel so widely around the world. It's a privilege that I earn enough to make my money go further in other countries. So something I fear is not being able to make the most of that. What would you like to change either about the world or about your own life? I'd like the people who have the power to pay more attention to the people that don't. There's been movements for environmental change, political change, and it seems like the will of the people doesn't really go far in the general decision making anymore, or at least in some countries. I'm no political expert, and I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers, or certainly pretend that I'm right about everything, because I'm not. But it doesn't seem that the people with the power are paying attention, and that's something that I'd like to see change. I'd like to see us move to renewable energies. I'd like us to move into an era where people who have the power are doing what's best for the world. It seems that money and greed has always been an influence, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and that's something I would like to change in the world. What's in my pocket? What's in my pocket? What's in my pocket? My pocket was the phone, a mask, very telling of the times, and sunglasses, because I'm always hopeful, and I was hoping for better weather, but that's the rainforest for you. You can't always get what you want. Thank you for sharing a little part of my day. It's been a pleasure to have you along and show you what it's like as somebody who is still traveling the world and still doing what I wanted to do before the lockdown hit. Like I said, I feel very privileged to be in a position where I can do what I want, and it's great that people are still able to get out here and see what the world has to offer.